Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have driven our Supra back from the Essen Motor Show. Me and Hash came back yesterday, took us around 7.5 hours. He was in the RS3, I was in the Supra. So got a really good chance to see what the car was like on the Autobahns. I hadn't spent much time with it before, so we've actually now done enough mileage so we can activate launch control. So when it's dry, I will give that a go. But first things first, we've got the car back and it's time to address the sound on the car. Although from the factory, it doesn't sound that bad at all. We always like to give our cars a little bit more character. So our friends at Supersprint have sent us their brand new exhaust for the Supra. So we'll take a look at the Supersprint exhaust, compare it to the stock one. We'll get this exhaust back on the car and then show you what it sounds like. So starting from the back, the stock Supra tailpipes are 100mm. Supersprint have gone a lot bigger and they are 120mm. So you can see the difference in size. Should give the rear end of the car a real aggressive look. The back box is quite a bit smaller, so I'm hoping it's going to be louder than the stock one. Funnily enough, the stock back box also has BMW stamped on it, so we're finding things with BMW all over the Supra, which is no surprise to us. So the Supersprint exhaust also retains the factory valve actuator, which is on this side, so all the sport modes still work. Moving further up the exhaust, on the stock Supra exhaust, this is the OPF. So the Supersprint one will be deleting that. So for the purposes of this video, we just want to compare the sound. We expect deleting the OPF to give some power, but we will do a separate test on that when we start dynoing the car stock and then building up stage 1, stage 2, and then testing the eventually intake. So I'm hoping that deletion will provide some extra sound. And Supersprint also make the downpipes for this car. This one is the decatted version. They also have a catted version, but we won't be fitting that today. We will be doing that as part of our stage 1 and stage 2 tuning at a later date. So let's get the Supersprint exhaust on the Supra and then we can check out what it sounds like. With the Supersprint exhaust fitted to the car, let's take a closer look at the way it looks. So I really like the way that Supersprint have cut the tailpipes to match the angle of the diffuser, and it's a quite nice size upgrade compared to the standard ones. Standard ones weren't bad at all, but these ones are just that much bigger to suit the aggressive nature of the rear of the car. The tailpipes are chrome at the moment. Normally I do like black tailpipes, but the chrome kind of goes with the outside of the Supra badge here and the inner part of the Toyota badge here. So we'll leave it for now. And if we feel like the need to later on, maybe we'll switch them over to black tailpipes. This car was ready for Essen Motor Show really quickly, literally in the space of a week. So we haven't had a good chance to go around and look at the changes we made since the last video. So let's go take a look around the car. The most obvious change was obviously the wrap, which was designed by Capsule and then applied by Dom at Rapid Graphics. We've also got a set of 660 Chakram one-piece forged wheels. So these wheels we made in the same size as the stock wheels, but we just gave them a more aggressive offset, so they just fill the arches out a bit more, and they're finished in an antique bronze brushed finish. We weren't able to get a Bilstein coilover kit in time because the car was so new. There was nothing developed, so at the moment we're just running a set of H&R springs. But as soon as Bilstein have their coilovers ready, which I think they should have now, because when I went to Tokyo Auto Salon, Bilstein had a Supra on their stand and it was definitely running Bilstein coilovers. We will get a set of those on here so we can just lower it a little bit more. I think aesthetically probably just needs to come down another 5mm front and rear. Under the bonnet, the most obvious change is obviously the eVenturi intake, and that was very last minute for us because the first few kits all went to SEMA for the cars that were on display there. So we now finally have the eVenturi intake fitted to our own Supra, so we can carry on doing some testing on the stage 2 map that we're going to apply to this car soon. And we've also done the carbon fiber engine cover. So this is done in very much the standard OE Toyota style, but just in prepared carbon fiber, and it really finishes the engine bay off very nicely. So now we've looked at the car, let's jump in and see what the exhaust sounds like. So the Supersprint sounds pretty good static revving. Let's see what it sounds like from inside the car. Down, put it into sport, neutral, not reverse. Okay, that's good. Definitely hear it inside the cabin. So these overruns are stock, so we haven't changed those yet, which you can do with the tune. So I'm gonna go take for a normal drive, see what it's like. There's nothing worse than an exhaust that really gets on your nerves when you're daily driving and it drones and just causes a nuisance. So keen to see what this one is like. Supersprint normally get that quite right. But yeah, even on part throttle sounds pretty good. You can hear the exhaust on the overrun every time you let go of the accelerator or downshift. But the B58 engine is a good sounding engine. You hear a M140i or a 240i or even a Z4 with an aftermarket exhaust. The tone is pretty cool. Not like the F80 M3 where it's very easy to ruin the exhaust note. So although we've had this car for a good 6-7 months now, we've hardly driven it. So I've just checked and we've done 1,400 miles. And most of that was going to the SN Motor Show for the eVenturi stand. So that's gonna be a good, I think, 500 or 600 miles each way. So we've literally done a couple of 100 miles in it. I was out with Ricky from LLF yesterday and driving it for the first time in ages, and I've forgotten how good the car actually drives. It's actually a very enjoyable car to drive dynamically. So yeah, that's cruising along at around 40-50 miles an hour, which is what you'd be doing on your commute to work, and it's very pleasant. There's no drone inside the cabin at all. And from inside the car, you can hardly notice it on idle, which is a good thing. So yeah, even on high RPMs, the exhaust note is very clean. The pitch is very sporty and it's got a lot of tone to it, which is good. which is what I've come to expect from Supersprint exhaust, to be fair. Just hear the Venturi intake there under boost as well. Yeah, so the tone is actually, it's quite cool. So the pitch and the tone, the sound is very familiar or similar through the whole rev range, but as the car climbs through the rev range, it just gets that slight bit louder and slight bit higher pitched, which I really like on the turbocharged car. Turbocharged cars are normally quite difficult to get a good sound out of, but I think with the B58 it does have the dynamics to be a good sounding car, and they've just enhanced that. I'm just gonna head over to a country lane now and see what it sounds like. Now we've got a bit of open road, we can see what it sounds like. So with the windows down, there's just too much wind turbulence, so you can't hear it. So hopefully you can pick up the noise from inside. Sounds pretty good. And remember, this is just the downpipe back, so we've still got the stock cat in place. Sounds pretty good. So we're gonna, next stage for us is to put the downpipe on the car and do the stage 2 tuning. We haven't spent a great deal of time on this car, just been traveling too much. I've been to all the major auto shows, but I'm not traveling for the next 11 weeks now. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll concentrate on tuning the Supra and getting a bit more power out of it, complete our stage 1 tuning, and then move on to the stage 2. And we'll get the car back on the dyno and see what kind of power it's pushing out. So I'm going to head back to the workshop now, and we're going to return the car completely back to standard in terms of the exhaust and the intake, and then we're going to document the whole tuning process from stock to stage 1 to stage 2, then the Venturi, and then we'll see where we go from there. But for now, I'm really happy with the Supersprint exhaust. If you're not planning on changing the downpipe, just changing this rear exhaust from the downpipe back, sounds really good. It's got good tone and it doesn't drone at all, which is always a winner in my book. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you'd like to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you'd like to watch what YouTube suggests you might like from our other videos, you can watch that over here. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comment section and we'll do our best to answer them for you.